Love isn't broken, we are. I keep coming back to that because it's the only explanation that actually makes sense anymore. We didn't lose the ability to love someone. We lost the willingness to be honest about wanting it. I think about this a lot late at night when the day is quiet enough to actually notice what's going on around me, and what I notice is a pattern. It's not just one person or one situation, it's everywhere. It's in how people talk about relationships now like they're a transaction. It's in how caring too much got turned into a character flaw. Somewhere along the way, wanting something real started sounding needy and staying detached started sounding smart. Like the less you feel, the more impressive you are. I used to think love just naturally worked itself out if two people were honest. That's what I was taught. I mean, that's what I saw growing up. People stayed, people worked through things. People chose each other on purpose, even on the boring days, even on the days nothing exciting was happening. So I carried that belief into everything. I showed up honest. I said what I meant. I didn't play games because I never saw the point in games. If I liked someone, I said it. If I was thinking about them, I told them I thought that was just how you were supposed to do it. And for a while, I thought that was enough. I thought being real was the whole strategy. But then I started noticing something that messed with my head a little. The people who played it cool kept winning. The ones who texted back slow, who kept things vague, who never fully committed to anything. They were the ones everyone chased. I'd watch it happen right in front of me. Someone barely puts in effort, barely replies, barely shows up, and somehow that person's the one everyone's trying to figure out. Meanwhile, the ones who were consistent, who showed up the same way every single time, got treated like background noise, like something to come back to whenever nothing better was around, like a safety net instead of an actual choice. And that did something to me. It made me start questioning whether honesty was actually a liability now, whether caring too openly just made you easier to overlook. I'd replay conversations trying to figure out what I did wrong, except I hadn't done anything wrong. I just wasn't unpredictable enough to be interesting. I wasn't hard to read, so I wasn't worth chasing. And that's a weird thing to sit with, honestly. Knowing you did everything right, and it still didn't matter, because doing everything right isn't what gets rewarded anymore. I started noticing this isn't just about one person anymore. It's bigger than that. It's the whole way people date now. Everyone's got options stacked up somewhere. Everyone's one tap away from someone new. So commitment doesn't feel necessary the way it used to. Why choose one person fully when there's always a backup scrolling by? Why work through something hard when quitting is one swipe away? Why sit with an uncomfortable conversation when you can just disappear and start over with somebody new tomorrow? And that changes how people show up. It makes effort feel optional. It makes consistency feel like something you do until something shinier comes along. I see it in how slow people respond now. How normal it's become to keep 3 or 4 conversations going at once. How nobody wants to define anything because defining it means being accountable to it. Everyone wants the closeness without the responsibility. Everyone wants to be chosen without choosing back. Everyone wants attention on demand, but nothing that actually asks something of them. Honestly, it makes me wonder if peace just became boring to people. Like, calm isn't exciting enough anymore. Stability doesn't give the same rush as chasing someone who barely texts back, so people confuse chaos for chemistry. They confuse inconsistency for mystery, and the ones who are steady, who don't play any of that, get mistaken for boring, get mistaken for a sure thing not worth trying for. Like being easy to love is somehow a red flag, now instead of the whole point. What scares me a little is watching this change people. I know good people. People who used to care loud and open, now guarding everything, now testing people before they let anything in. I get why, 'cause nobody wants to be the one still trying while everyone else moved on to detachment. Nobody wants to be the only one being real while everyone else is playing it safe. But it's sad watching people build walls just to keep up with everyone else building walls. It's sad watching people who used to be soft turn careful, turn guarded, turn quiet about things they used to say out loud without thinking twice. And I catch myself doing it too sometimes, holding back a little, not replying right away even when I want to, telling myself it's smarter that way, that it protects me somehow. And that's the part that scares me the most, honestly. Not that love got harder, but that I'm slowly learning to play the same game I used to hate. Because when you keep watching the wrong things get rewarded, it messes with how you see yourself. You start thinking maybe the problem is that you're too available. Maybe the problem is you answer too fast, you care too visibly, you don't make anyone work for it. And once you start thinking like that, you start editing yourself. You start rehearsing texts before you send them. You start waiting an hour just so you don't seem too eager. And none of that is really about strategy. It's about fear. It's about not wanting to be the one left standing there, fully invested, while the other person barely blinks. I remember sitting with a friend a few months back, watching him talk about someone he'd been seeing. He kept saying he didn't want to seem too into it. He liked her, he actually liked her, but he was scared that if she knew how much, she'd lose interest. And I remember thinking, that's insane, that we've built a world where liking someone too much is the risky move, where the safest thing you can do is pretend you don't care as much as you do. That's not love working the way it's supposed to. That's two people managing each other instead of choosing each other. And that's the part that gets me, because worth was never supposed to be about how hard you are to get. Worth is just worth. It doesn't go up because you replied slower. It doesn't go down because you were honest first. But the way people date now makes it feel like value is something you have to protect by hiding it. Like showing someone you care is giving away leverage. And once you start believing that, you stop feeling secure in just being yourself. You start performing distance to feel safe. At first I thought the problem was me being too much, too available, too open, too easy to read. But it wasn't that, it was never that. The problem was that I was measuring myself against people who weren't even trying to build something real. I was comparing my honesty to someone else's performance and wondering why the performance kept winning attention. But attention was never the same thing as depth. Attention is easy. Depth takes effort, and effort is exactly what people have been trained to avoid. So now I think about it differently. Love isn't broken, and neither am I for wanting it the plain way. What's broken is the standard everyone quietly agreed to, where caring less makes you interesting and caring more makes you a fool. That standard doesn't hold up under any real pressure. It only works in the beginning, when nothing's been tested yet. Eventually someone has to actually show up, and that's when all the detachment falls apart, because it was never built to last. It was just built to look good for a while. I don't think the answer is turning cold to match everyone else. I thought about it, honestly. There were nights I told myself maybe I should just stop caring first before someone else does it to me. But that's not protection, that's just giving up early. That's choosing to lose slowly instead of risking losing fast. And I'd rather risk it. I'd rather be the one who was honest and still got overlooked than the one who played it safe and never found out what could have happened. So I'm not trying to fix people or explain away why things are the way they are right now. I'm just trying to stay the same person I was before I noticed any of this. Still saying what I mean, still replying when I want to, not when it looks better. Still choosing someone fully instead of keeping one foot out the door in case it doesn't work. Maybe that still loses sometimes. Maybe honesty doesn't always get picked over mystery. At least not yet. But I'd rather lose being real than win by pretending. 'Cause winning that way isn't really winning anything. It's just being good at hiding. Love isn't broken. We just forgot how simple it's supposed to be. We made it complicated because we were scared of getting hurt plainly. So we hurt each other in more complicated ways instead. And I don't have some clean answer for how to undo that. I just know I'm done pretending indifference is strength. So I'll keep showing up the same way I always have. Quiet, honest, no games, not because I think it guarantees anything, just because it's the only version of this I actually recognize as real.